"If my mother were alive, she would understand me," Harry said. He left the palace, moved to the USA, gave up royal titles. William is angry, Charles is sad, but Harry said, "You killed my mother. Now you're trying to kill me too." Before we explore Harry's rebellion and his fight to honor Diana's memory, please consider subscribing to the Diana Stories and hitting the like button. Your support helps us tell these important stories about Diana's lasting impact. Prince Harry's decision to step back from royal duties in 2020 shocked the world. The Megxit announcement seemed sudden and dramatic. Many blamed Meghan Markle for pulling Harry away from his family and his country, but those who listened closely to Harry's words understood the truth. This wasn't about Meghan, this was about Diana. Harry has made it abundantly clear that his departure from royal life is directly connected to what happened to his mother. He watched the institution fail to protect Diana. He watched the media hound her. He watched his family remain silent as she suffered. And when he saw the same patterns emerging with Meghan, Harry made a choice Diana never got to make. He left. The parallels Harry saw. From the moment Harry's relationship with Meghan became public, he began seeing disturbing parallels to his mother's experience. The media frenzy was immediate and intense. Meghan was subjected to unprecedented scrutiny, much of it racist and misogynist. The British tabloids published stories about Meghan daily, many of them negative or false. They criticized her family, her past, her American background, her race, her acting career. Everything about her was dissected and often vilified. The coverage was relentless and often cruel. Harry watched this happening and recognized the pattern. This was exactly what had happened to Diana. The media had turned Diana into both a commodity and a target. They had made her life impossible, following her everywhere, invading her privacy, manufacturing scandals. Harry also noticed the palace's response, or lack thereof. Just as they had with Diana, the royal family remained largely silent as Meghan was attacked. There were no strong public defenses of Meghan, no attempts to correct false narratives, no real effort to protect her from the media onslaught. The palace's approach to negative media coverage has always been never complain, never explain. This might work when dealing with minor criticisms or maintaining royal mystique, but Harry had seen where it led with his mother. Silence in the face of vicious attacks isn't dignity, it's abandonment. Told about the crash, he had to walk behind her coffin in front of millions of people. He was expected to grieve publicly and perform royal duty while dealing with devastating loss. Harry has spoken openly about how he didn't properly process his mother's death for years. He suppressed his grief, tried to continue normally, and eventually began struggling with mental health issues, anxiety, and anger. It took him until his late 20s to finally seek therapy and begin dealing with the trauma. Part of Harry's trauma is guilt. He has expressed regret about his final phone call with Diana, which he rushed because he wanted to play with his cousins. He feels he didn't appreciate his last moments with his mother. He also feels guilty that he was too young to protect her or speak out on her behalf. Most significantly, Harry is angry about how Diana was treated. He's angry at the media for hounding her. He's angry at the palace for not protecting her. He's angry at the circumstances that made her life so difficult, and he's determined not to let history repeat itself. The decision to leave. In January 2020, Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping back as senior members of the royal family. They would split their time between the UK and North America, become financially independent, and continue some royal duties while pursuing private work. The announcement caused shock and controversy. The media called it Megxit, framing it as Meghan pulling Harry away from his family. The palace was reportedly blindsided and not consulted properly. William and Charles were said to be hurt and angry. But Harry was clear about his reasons. In interviews and statements, he made explicit connections to Diana. He talked about history repeating itself and his determination to protect his family in a way his mother wasn't protected. He spoke about the toxic media environment in Britain and the palace's unwillingness to defend Meghan. Harry also revealed that he and Meghan had tried to work with the palace to find solutions. They had proposed various compromises that would have allowed them to serve the monarchy while also having some protection and independence. But the palace rejected these proposals, insisting Harry and Meghan either be full-time working royals under palace control or leave entirely. Faced with this ultimatum, Harry chose to leave. He would not subject Meghan to what Diana had endured. He would not allow his children to grow up in that environment. He would break the cycle, even if it meant leaving his family and his country. The Oprah interview, March 2021. In March 2021, Harry and Meghan sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a bombshell interview that aired in the UK and the US. The interview revealed the depth of Harry's feelings about Diana and the parallels he saw with Meghan's treatment. Revealed that his family had cut him off financially after he left, forcing him to use money Diana had left him to support his family. Most powerfully, Harry said, "My mother was chased to her death while she was in a relationship with someone that wasn't white. And now look what's happened. You want to talk about history repeating itself. They're not going to stop until she dies." This was an extraordinary accusation. Harry was directly connecting racist media coverage of Meghan to his mother's death. He was suggesting that the same forces that killed Diana were now targeting his wife, and the royal family was again failing to intervene. Harry also revealed that he had felt unable to leave the royal family earlier because he was trapped by the system and by fear. He said it was only Meghan's arrival and support that gave him the courage to finally break free. The Diana comparisons. Throughout his interviews and public statements, Harry has consistently drawn parallels between Meghan and Diana. He sees similarities in their experiences. Both were outsiders who married into the royal family and were initially celebrated before being torn down by the media. Both were subjected to intense scrutiny and largely negative coverage. Both were portrayed as difficult, disruptive, or problematic by palace insiders speaking to the press. Both experienced the palace failing to defend them against false or cruel narratives. Harry has also noted similarities in the racist undertones of coverage. While Diana wasn't subjected to racial attacks, she was criticized for her relationships with non-white men, particularly Dodi Fayed. The coverage of that relationship had racist elements that Harry now recognizes. Most importantly, both women found the palace's insistence on silence and stoicism to be harmful rather than helpful. Diana broke that silence with the Panorama interview, which had consequences, but at least allowed her to tell her story. Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview served a similar purpose, breaking silence to reveal truth. Spare, 2023. In January 2023, Harry published his memoir Spare, which became one of the fastest-selling books ever. The book revealed even more about Harry's feelings regarding Diana and his departure from royal life. In Spare, Harry wrote extensively about his mother's death and his trauma around it. He described the pain of losing her, the difficulty of grieving publicly, and his anger at the circumstances of her death. He made clear that Diana's death shapes everything about how he approaches his own life and family. Harry also revealed specific ways the palace had failed both Diana and Meghan. He described a culture of briefing against royal family members, particularly the wives. He suggested William's office had leaked stories about Harry and Meghan, sacrificing them to protect William's reputation, exactly what had happened to Diana. Most controversially, Harry described physical altercations with William and suggested his brother was trapped in the royal system just as Diana had been. But unlike Harry, William was unable to escape. William and Harry's split. One of the most painful aspects of Harry's rebellion is the rift with his brother William. The two brothers, once incredibly close and united in grief over their mother, are now estranged. William reportedly feels betrayed by Harry's departure and his public criticisms of the royal family. As the future king, William is committed to the institution and its traditions. He views Harry's actions as disloyal and damaging to the monarchy. Harry, meanwhile, feels William has forgotten the lessons they should have learned from Diana's experience. He sees William as having been absorbed by the institution, accepting its rules and priorities even when they cause harm. Harry has suggested William is trapped and unable to leave if he wanted to. The brothers' different responses to Diana's death and legacy have driven them apart. William has chosen to work within the system, modernizing it gradually from within. Harry has chosen to reject the system entirely, believing it's fundamentally harmful and cannot be reformed. Harry's mission. Harry has been explicit about his mission: to prevent what happened to Diana from happening again. He speaks constantly about protecting his family, breaking cycles of pain, and ensuring his children have the freedom Diana wanted for him and William. In interviews, Harry has said, "I've seen what happens when someone I love is commoditized to the point that they are no longer treated or seen as a real person. I lost my mother, and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces." Harry views his departure from royal life not as abandonment, but as protection. He's doing what he believes is necessary to keep Meghan and his children safe from the destructive forces that killed his mother. Harry has also framed his actions as honoring Diana's wishes. He's said Diana would have understood his decision and supported him. He's suggested she would have left herself if she'd had the resources and support he now has. The institution's response. The royal family has largely maintained silence about Harry's accusations, following their traditional never complain, never explain approach. However, there have been some notable responses. After the Oprah interview, Buckingham Palace issued a brief statement saying some recollections may vary and that the issues raised would be addressed privately. This careful response acknowledged concerns while avoiding direct engagement with Harry's specific claims. William did make one public comment, saying, "We're very much not a racist family," responding to revelations in the Oprah interview about concerns raised regarding Archie's skin color. Charles has reportedly tried to maintain contact with Harry and has expressed sadness about the situation, but he's also prioritized the institution and his role as king, suggesting he cannot make exceptions for Harry that would undermine the monarchy. Public opinion on Harry's rebellion is deeply divided. In the UK, many view Harry as having betrayed his family and his country. They see him as being manipulated by Meghan, acting selfishly, and damaging the monarchy for personal gain. Others, particularly younger people and those outside the UK, view Harry as brave for breaking free from a toxic system. They admire his willingness to prioritize mental health, family, and happiness over duty and tradition. The divide often falls along generational and political lines. Those who are traditional and monarchist tend to view Harry negatively. Those who are progressive and skeptical of institutional power tend to support him. At the heart of Harry's rebellion is the question of Diana's legacy. What lessons should be learned from her life and death? How should her sons honor her memory? William's approach has been to work within the system Diana was part of, trying to modernize and improve it. He and Kate have focused on causes Diana cared about: homelessness, mental health, children's welfare, while maintaining royal protocol and supporting the institution. Harry's approach has been more radical. He believes the institution that failed Diana cannot be reformed from within. He thinks the only way to honor Diana's memory is to break free entirely, to live the authentic life Diana wanted but couldn't have. Both brothers believe they're honoring their mother, but their different approaches have led them down completely different paths. The cost of rebellion. Harry's rebellion has cost him dearly. He's lost his close relationship with William. His relationship with Charles is strained. He's been stripped of military titles and royal patronages that meant a great deal to him. He's lost his home in the UK and his place in the only life he'd ever known. Harry has also faced intense criticism and mockery in the British press. He's been called everything from a traitor to a fool. His mental health has been questioned, his marriage scrutinized, his motives impugned. But Harry has said repeatedly that these costs are worth it. He would rather be estranged from his family than risk losing Meghan the way he lost Diana. He would rather be criticized than stay silent while his wife is attacked. He would rather give up titles and privilege than compromise his family's safety and well-being. Harry's rebellion against the royal family is fundamentally about Diana. It's about the trauma of losing his mother in circumstances he believes were preventable. It's about the guilt of being too young to protect her. It's about the determination not to repeat history. When Harry says, "You killed my mother, now you're trying to kill me too," he's not speaking literally about murder. He's speaking about a system that treats people as commodities, that prioritizes image over well-being, that maintains silence in the face of cruelty, that fails to protect its most vulnerable members. Harry watched this system destroy his mother. He felt trapped by it himself, and when he saw it beginning to destroy Meghan, he made a choice. He left. Whether you view Harry's rebellion as brave or selfish, noble or foolish, it's undeniably rooted in his experience of losing Diana. Every decision Harry has made, from speaking out about mental health to leaving royal life to writing his memoir, connects back to his mother and his determination to honor her memory by breaking the cycles that killed her. Harry is fighting for Diana in the only way he can now, by refusing to let history repeat itself, by speaking truth even when it's uncomfortable, by choosing his family's well-being over institutional preservation. He's avenging his mother not through violence, but through rebellion. By leaving, by speaking, by refusing to accept that this is just how things are, by insisting that what happened to Diana was wrong and should never happen again. Whether the rift with William can ever heal, whether Harry will ever return to royal life, whether his children will have relationships with their grandfather and uncle, all of this remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. Harry's rebellion is Diana's legacy manifesting in the most dramatic and unexpected way. The institution that failed Diana now faces her son's determined rejection, and Harry has made clear he will not stop speaking truth, will not return to silence, will not compromise on protecting his family, no matter what it costs him. Diana didn't get to escape, but Harry did. And he's making sure everyone knows why.